In our last sitting, we were being given the message which was अंधे तू बैठा कंधी पाहे जे होवे पूर्व लिखया ता गुर का बचन कमाए रहा. That was the one. So the last line was साध संगत को वारया जियो किया कुर्बान जिसते सोजी मन पई मिलया पुरख सुजान नानक डिठा सदा नाल हर अंतरजामी नाल हर अंतरजामी जान. So that was the 74th hymn, and the essence was that the mind-body system that is asleep and doesn't see the truth, the ultimate truth, which is the mortality of the human mind-body system, that it is not immortal, it's not going to last too long, it is an opportunity for a limited time space. And that's why it was reminded, Andhe tu baitha kandi pahe. You are sitting on the boundary, and any time you can be flipped over onto the other side. So what should you do? And in the last line, the message was, साध संगत को वार्या जियो किया कुर्बान जिसते सोजी मन पई मिलया पुरख सुजान. Get started on the path and surrender yourself. Jiyo kiya kurban. Surrender yourself to someone who has gone ahead of you and can help you to move on the same path. And what will happen? Jiste soji man pai. You will get the knowledge and the awareness and the process of starting on a journey. And if you start on a journey, this is the potential in you. Nanak dittha sadana. You will be able to achieve where you will not only be talking in imagination, but you will be able to see from within. It will personify, it will manifest itself. That energy, that light, whatever you want to call that light to be, whether it is God or whether it is Vaheguru or Ram or Krishna, whatever you want to call it, whatever that energy is, it will manifest from within if you get started. You have that potential. So, what is the prerequisite for that? The message is get going, but get going how? And the next hymn takes that topic. And it says, Sabbe Gallan Visaran Ikko Visar na jao. It's a very difficult condition. Sabbe Gallan Visaran. Literally translated, you are allowed to forget everything or anything in your life, but one. You cannot forget that. You must always bear that in mind. And the tragedy is that normally everything else remains. We tend to forget that one. Sabbe gallan visaran ikko visar na jao. You cannot forget the one. Everything else is allowed. It's possible. You can forget somebody's name, somebody's face, somebody's address, somebody's telephone numbers, or you can forget doing this or going somewhere, or you can miss an appointment because you forgot. You can say, you can have lapses of memory in any and every area of life except one. And unless you can get to that state of existence, the journey won't start. And that's a very, very important condition. So the mind immediately revolts. So wait a minute, how can I have a gazillion things to do? Are you trying to tell me that I should stop living? That's not what we said. Look at the word. It says whatever you're doing, keep on doing, but don't forget one. That's the key. Continue doing whatever you're doing. The problem is that when we are doing what we are doing, we tend to remember what we are doing. We don't remember that one. When we are driving a car, we tend to focus on driving the car so much that the car and the driving only remains. And the master is saying, oh wait, you can drive the car, it'll go. Keep the memory somewhere else. Let the body do its job. Body follows, it is mimicking. It's a monkey. Once you train it, most of us learned typing, right? And when we were learning, we were watching the keys, right? When time came, you are looking here and the fingers know exactly where the A and B's and C's and D's in any random order are. What happened here? The mind-body system was trained. So body will keep on doing what it wants to do. Now the mind can go wherever it wants to. When you were sitting right on this harmonium, when you shoot somebody and say, play this tune, and they will watch it. Okay, which key now, which key next, which key next. So you will turn the first, second, third. And then a time comes when the fingers just run and you're looking somewhere else and you are singing, you are playing, and you are watching, and you are looking at the other's reactions and actions, how they are responding to you. But the fingers are doing the job. It is that trick that we need to master when it comes to that one. And we don't put enough energy to do that. And it's saying, Sabbe Gallan Visaran. Ekko na visar ja. You have to train yourself. You have to put to practice as you would put practice in anything. Right? I give you 3-4 examples. Learning to type, learning to drive, learning to play an instrument. We put effort into it. And a time comes, then it becomes part of your second nature. At that point, you can now relieve the mind from focusing on that. Same way, you need to train yourself that while you are working, while you are doing, you are remembering that. So you have to make now effort. Just as when we were learning car and the instructor is saying, don't look on the side, look straight. And no matter how hard you try, you keep on. Well, the car is going on the right. Yeah, because you are looking on the right. No, I'm not. I'm looking straight. No, you're not. The fact the car is going to the right is telling me that no, you're not looking straight. Right? So the instructor keeps on reminding. No, look straight. No, look straight. Don't try to look next to the bumper. Keep the eyes straight line focused. At your eye level. They keep on reminding you. And then a time comes, even when you are not looking straight, the car is still going straight. But it took some practice, some lessons, some experience. So Gurbani is emphasizing that fact. Say, look, you need to put some practice in it. To do what? Sabbe Gallan Visaran, Ekna Visarana. You have to practice that while you are doing something, you do not forget it. Because once you do that, what will happen? Tanda Sabajalaya Ke Guru Naam Diya Sajaswal. Tanda means the day-to-day work. See, all of this will then get pushed aside. Not that it will not be done. You'll be surprised that all of this is still going on, yet your mind-body system is now aware of what? Naam Diya Sajaswal. That true word becomes part of your being because you are remembering. That's what. What's the true word? Ik. His name. Whatever his name is true to you. If you stay on that thought, then Now the transformation is going to start coming into you. Which is that transformation? Asa sabbe lahe kai ikka askava. See, right now, our hopes and dreams are what? They're all related with our children, husbands, wives, friends, relatives. Right? Why? Because that's where the mind is focused. When we talk, we immediately, completely become absorbed in that talk, in that interaction. So because this becomes important, that becomes secondary. But if it was reversed, that I'm still talking, but my mind is focused over there, what will happen? Then this will become secondary. Whatever hope and dream is here, secondary. Why? Because what is in the mind body now as a focus is here. So what will happen? Asa sabbe laheke. All other desires will get pushed aside. They will be there, but they will be not primary anymore. They will be set aside. And what will rise up from your consciousness? Ekko, ekka askama. And that desire will become now primary. Now this model is totally contrary to Buddhism. Because Buddhism will say, well, wait a minute. You need to become desireless. Not have the desire to meet him. Become desireless. And a smart girl will say, well, becoming desireless also is a desire. Isn't it? The whole of the universe started with a desire. The very first. What is the very first event taking place in the universe?
Adam and Eve.
Think about it.
Adam and Eve.
No. That consciousness becoming aware of itself, that I am consciousness. I am that I am. Right? Now, once I am aware I am that I am, the matter could have ended right there. Think about it. But it didn't end over there. Why not? First desire. What is that desire?
To create.
Who am I? I want to know. The desire to know the self. Who am I? Okay. I am one. I am that I am. So if one becomes many, am I that? So what's the answer? When one becomes many, and then that one says, am I that? The answer is, oh, wait a minute, how can you be that? A part can never be equal to the whole.
Am I in it?
So, if that I am did not have the first desire, the process will start.
Never thought of it that way.
So, to a seeker, to tell the seeker right in the beginning, become desireless, is an impossibility. You cannot catch it. You cannot grasp it. So Gurmani says, no, I understand your problem. I'm not asking you to become desireless. I'm asking you to set other desires aside, just take one. At least start narrowing it down. And slowly what happens? That desire also drops. Then you become desireless, then you become that. I am that I am. That's the enlightenment, that's the nirvana. that whatever you want to call it. That's a mukti. And so Gurbani says, once you get started, what happens? Continue doing all of these things, and they will keep on coming and finishing and coming and finishing. Jalana means khatam hona. Jalna means khatam hona. They will get started and finish, get started and finish. But while that is going on, there is an underlying current, which is Guru Naam Diya Sach Swav. Kind of stay focused on this. And when you start practicing that, another thing evolves, and that is Asa Sabhe Laheke Ikka As Kamao. The rest of the hopes and the desires and Vasanava start getting pushed on the side, and one rises above everything else. And when that happens, then who are those who can get to that stage? So there are few. Jinni Sadguru Seveya can agge milya thao. Those who get on that process, follow that, practice that, they become capable of, they become deserving of getting accepted. Agge milya thao. They find their place, they find their space in the next dimension. So, get started. How?
So is this somehow related to being in the moment? A lot of teachers talk about being in the moment, drop everything, but
Well, that is, being in the moment is when you reach a stage where you can drop the others.
Mindfulness.
Right?
yeah, something.
That's basically saying that the mind can only exist in movement. Mind can exist either in the past memories or the future hopes. These are the two extremes of a pendulum. The dreams of the past or the failures of the past, right? We always look back at those good old days. Can we say that's now, these good old days? Can we say that now? Because 10 days from now we will say those good old days. Does it look like a good day?
So you was
When you are going through the process, it doesn't look like it that way. In memory it becomes. Because nature, the memory now camouflages everything else. So it moves from the past to the future. So what is the sign of a mind that is not traveling, not moving? The pendulum of the clock going this way, that way, it will stop in the center. That's called being in the moment. No more movement. Stay in one moment. But in order to get to that process, to that stage of being, Gurbani says that's not going to become automatic. You're going to have to do something. Right? You have to practice. You have to invest. And what's that investment? Man mere karte nu salaha chabbe sad seyan pa gur ki pairi pa. It says, start the process of the meditation, the names, chanting, the hymn, whatever gets you there, because everything else is just an intellectual curiosity. So get out of your mind, get out of the intellect. Sabbe chad seyan pa. Seyan literally means the Hoshiari University.
Smartness.
Yeah, smartness. Smart aleck. I mean, we have developed a capability, and every human has, that the fact we can say something in response to anything, we think we are smart. If I can answer back whether that answer makes sense or not, If I can say something, I think I have contributed to the conversation. That's smartness. And Gurbani says, that only you are wordsmithing. It's not getting you anywhere. So you need to drop the wordsmithing. Sabbe chad se anapang kurki pari pa. Surrender your ego. Unless you surrender yourself and start the process, you are not going to get there where this is the ultimate state that you should be aspiring for, which is dukh bokh nahe vyapai je sukh data man hoye. The choice of words is marvelous. Dukh bokh nahe vyapai. Vyapi literally means it may be there, but you are not affected by it. You are not touched. It's there. Take the example of the sun ray or this light, right? This light ray is touching this. It's there. But is it hurting it? It doesn't even feel that's there. When you get on that path, a mind-body system will have these things surrounding you, but you won't be touched. It will start rising above it. It will start seeing the fallacy of and the impermanence of all of it. So, dukh, bokh. All of the sadness may be around you. All of the hunger, it may be around you, but it won't touch you. In other words, because earlier it had said, asa sabbe laeke. Everything is set aside. And in that, whether it's the happiness, that's also set aside, whether it's the sadness, that's also set aside. Both are set aside. They are there, but you are not impacted by it. Why? Je sukh data man hoy. If your mind is attached with that, would it feel anything else? And this has been proven experimentally in the labs that if the mind can be kept busy somewhere else, people can do anything to the body.
Operation and
They've done number of things. If you can suspend the mind, whether it's through hypnotics or whether it's through any other techniques or meditation technique, if you suspend it, you can do what you want to do with the body. Body will even register till you come back into that consciousness, into that space, and you suddenly feel, oops, it's burning. Because mind is so susceptible to the suggestion that if under hypnotic trance they put a cube of ice on your hand and actually tell you, I just put a burning charcoal, you'll be surprised. You take the ice off and the hand swells. Shows blisters. Because mind receives the signal and send the protective mechanism to form the blister. So it is not something magical, it's not something that we don't know about it. It's only we consciously don't practice it. So Gurbani says, hey, this is possible. If you say that, dukh bokh nahe vyapai je sukh data man hoye, kitahi kam na chijiye jahan hirday sacha sho. That no matter what you do, kisi ka, it's totally irrelevant what you do. You would not be ever bothered by anything so long as jahan hirday sacha hoye, so long as your focus remains on that truth. Jis tu rakhe hath de tis maar na sakkai koi. Now this statement is very, very dangerous because it's misunderstood and misinterpreted all over the world. Literally translated is that if you want to save somebody, then nobody can kill. That's literally translated. in that sense, whatever he wants to do will be done. Right? If he wants to kill, somebody will be killed. If he doesn't want to kill, somebody will not be. Anything that's happening is his will.
Thy will. Yeah, this.
So, this thing is not pointing out to just tu rakhe haath de. It doesn't mean that if your blessing is on somebody, then he won't die. Because the question would be, those who die, whose blessing they had? Was there another one? Or is he discriminatory, that he protects some and not the others? See how the language traps you, and unless you are completely alert, you will be swept by it. Basically, it is saying that those who get into the mode of being with you, meaning thereby coming under your shelter, coming under your umbrella, then they transcend the life and death. जिस तू रखे हाथ दे, जिस दे हाथ जोड़ा उस दे हाथ नू पकड़ लाए, ਉਹਦੇ ਥੱਲੇ ਆ ਜਾਏ, ਉਹਦੀ ਸ਼ੈਲਟਰ ਥੱਲੇ, ਉਹ ਕੀ ਹੈ? ਫਿਰ ਉਹ ਮਰਨ ਦੇ ਜੀਵਨ ਦੇ ਚੱਕਰ ਚੋਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਨਿਕਲ ਜਾਏ ਤੇ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਰ ਨਾ ਸਕੇ. Doesn't mean that the body doesn't die. Right? I mean, this thing was written 500 years ago. We are still reading it. So is it alive or not? Right? That's what it means. Those who are under that umbrella, they do not follow the pattern of the mortality in the literal sense. They transcend the mortality. So, Sat Sukh Data Guru Seviye Sab Avgan Kadde Dhoye. So, chant on that name, meditate on that, so that all the negative energy is washed out of the mind-body system. Seva manga sevako laya apni sev sadhu sangam shakate tutte pavade. Those who are by his grace on that path, and they sit down with those who are off on the path, sadhusan, and mashakte means to work hard. Mashakat is a Persian word meaning hard labor, hard work. Those who do that, they become worthy of what? Tutte pava de. That they become worthy of his grace. Whose grace? Sab kich vasgit sahayavate ape karn kare. Whole dialogue is about that one who controls everything. Sab kich vasagat. The one who controls everything, his grace becomes possible for those who go on that path. Satgur ke balharne manasa sapure. You surrender yourself to that ultimate energy, so that your real purpose, manasa sab pure, pure mean puri ho jana. That means the real desire, real purpose of coming in this life is completed. When you get to that stage, you will see that here is the real scenery, which is Ikko disse sajjano, Ikko bhai meet. Unless you can, if you have not arrived at that, then don't be in delusion. Arrive at what? Ikko disse. So looking at this face, this face, this face, all of these, when you look at, they are no longer a man, a woman, a black, a white, a red, a blue. No longer that. Why? Because the eye does not stop at the skin any longer. It goes right to the core and say, yeah, the same light inside there too. Unless that state is arrived where you can see that, as they say, if you cannot see God in all, you cannot see God at all. That model. then you start seeing it. Not intellectually, literally. You can literally see consciousness. And you can also see that this mind-body system is asleep, this mind-body system is awake, off, or dreaming. You can see all of those things. इक्को दिसे सज्जनों, इक्को भाई मीत, इक से दी सामग्री, इक से दी है रीत, इक्कस्यो मन माने आता हुआ नेचल चीत, सच खाना, सच पहनना, टेक नानक सच की. That's our ultimate state, which is everything and anything belongs to Him. He is in everyone. All was created by the same, and that is the only one that I am comfortable with. Now everything else, ikkasyo man mane. When somebody now talks about the other, you just don't take notice of that. You don't assign any value to it. And such khana, such panana, take nanak, such ki. Then take literally means the dependence, sport. Then you don't seek any other sport. You don't depend on anything else, because you have now really seen the not just intellectual discussions, not just book knowledge. You have seen it experientially, which is ikko disse sajjana. Now everywhere you see Him, everywhere you see His creation, and everywhere, at every opportunity, you just want to stay with one thought process. And that's how the life goes on around you. So, if you get to that stage, the next hymn is one of a popular one. It's recited very often, and it is misinterpreted quite often also. There's a line in here which says, Lakh khushiyan paatshaahiyan je Satguru nadar kare. Literally translated that if there was His grace, then you will be blessed with hundreds of thousands of happinesses and desires and blessings. So the traditional priest, normally, why would you call it traditional priest to your home, right? Some occasion has to be there. The child is born, a wedding is there, a wedding anniversary is there, right? I bought a house, I bought a car, and want to do some special prayer. You call these people. So they will pick this line and say, see, the God has graced them, so they got a new house, they got a new car, they got a new job, they got a son, they got a wedding, blah, 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 lakh khushi. It's such a strange turn of events. And it's not talking of that at all. Because the hymn starts, Sabbe thok parapte je ave ek hath. If you attain to oneness, then everything else is included in it. Sabbe thok. Thok means a wholesale. You get everything in wholesale, provided you just get that one. Why? Because He created it all. Right? If you go, as I normally say, if you go to the king and say, I want to borrow so much from your treasury, and say, why do you want to borrow? I am yours. Right? So now, if the king becomes yours, isn't the treasury also yours? So why bother borrowing? Why not become one with Him? And that's what He's saying. Everything is included in it, provided je ave ek hath. Provided you have become one with one. Janma padarth sabhal hai je shacha shabad ka. If you want to make this life successful and get to that stage of ikhat, then do this. What? Sacha Shabad Kat. Katna means kehna, to say it. If you want to get to that, then it becomes possible, because if you don't do that, ekas bin sab tanga hai. Now, gurte mahal parapate jis likhya hove mat. जन्म पदार्थ सफल है जे सच्चा शब्द कथ गुरते महल परापते जिस हो लिखिया होवे मत. If you are the blessed one, the sign would be what? Those are the really blessed one, those who get this grace and start walking on the path. Gurte mahal parapate. Guru कोलों प्रसाद मिलिया होया है पर कदों जिस लिखिया होवे मत, कि उसके तकदीर उसके कर्म पिछले ऐसे होण जेड़ा कि उस रास्ते ते चल पाओ. So if you are one of those, what will you be doing? मेरे मन एकस स्यों चित लाए. The same ekas. Get focused on that one. Why? जैसे एकस बिन सब तंद है. Without him everything is just illusion. Without him, everything is a waste of energy, waste of a life cycle. Sab mithya moho maya. Mithya means illusion, moho means attachment, maya means the transitory word. So, if His grace come in, what will happen? Lakh khushiyan, badshaahiyan, je Satgur nadar kare. If His grace comes in, and all of those blessings are included in that grace, then this will happen, which is Nimak Ek Har Naam De. Nimak literally means a grain of sand. That's a chota, zarra. एक जर्रे जितना भी मेरे जो स्पार्क मिल जाए, निमक एक हर नाम दे. Just like spark. And you know that to get the process started, you don't need more than a spark. Right? As car चलाने जैसे वो spark वाला just starts the whole damn thing. Just a little spark. Similarly, in the consciousness, all you need is that little spark of divinity waking you, the whole thing up. Nimak ek har naam de, mera man tan sheetal hoye. Suddenly you will be absolutely at peace with everything around you, within yourself. And if that happens, and you get that grace, here is the indication that that has happened. Jisko purab likhya tin satgur charan gahe. Charan gahe means to surrender. Literally translated to touch the feet, but that's not, it's metaphorical. That you surrender. You suddenly find that you have become so humble. Humanity becomes your almost trademark. So, don't look for any seasons, weathers, days, whatever. Say, no, wait. Safala murat, safala ghadi, jit sache naal paya. Murat word is from Muhurat.
Not Murti.
Not Murti. That moment is auspicious. Muhurat hai. Safal Muhurat. Safala ghadi. That moment is special. When? Jit sache naal paya. The moment which takes you attached, keeps you attached with Him. The pyar, the praying, not neho, because that becomes moho. Talk about pyar. And we know the pyar literally translated means giving without condition. That's really the definition of love. Unfortunately, the love has become a four-lettered word in our language. I love my cat, I love my dad, I love my... We don't know where to use the word love properly. Love is God and God is love. And we have just brought it down to a very, very baser level. So it says, you develop that. Safala Murat, Safala Kadi. The moment you are able to do that, jit sache naal pyar, dukh santap na lag gayi, jis har ka naam adhar, baha pakad gur kaadya soi utre apar. So it is emphasizing the same again. If you fall in love with that process, with him, then dukh santap na lag gayi. Look how careful Gurbani is. It doesn't say dukh santap na avai. See, I got to say.
You will not react.
You will not. You will stay above it. Dukh santap na lag gayi. Why? Just hakka naam adhar. That now you are really dependent upon his name, his memory. So when mind is busy with the memory, how does it matter what is touching you and what is not touching you? You won't even notice it. Harka naam adhar, baha pakad gur kaadya. If you get going on that, you will be surprised that a very mysterious energy will come to support you and help you. It will guide you. Have always happened. From nowhere the energy appears to help you on that path, on the step. And so the one who has gone ahead of you will come and literally baha pakad, metaphorically speaking, will pull you by the hand and say, come along, I'll take you where you want to go. That's what happens with the consciousness. When it's ready, when it starts moving, the energy comes in and gives you the push, and you wonder what happened. Baha pakad gur kaadya, soi utre apar. Those are the one who have transcended utre apar. The word par, it's a very strange play with the language. There are two words. One is urar, the other is par. Now, urar literally means your side, where you are standing on the edge, and the par means the other edge.
Across.
Right? The across. So if you are standing on this side is urar and that is par. So if you are standing on that side is urar and this becomes par. So par means what? Just the other side. What is the other side? This side is the physical dimension. That side is his dimension, and that's what he's talking about. You end up going in the other side. Than sohava pavitra hai jithe sant sava toi tishu no mile jin pura guru labha nanak badda kartaha jithe mirat na janam jara. Than sohava pavitra hai. That space is the real pure one, where jithe sant sava. Now, this is literally translated that, like we are sitting here, they say, well, sant baithe hoye ne, ye jagah badi spiritual ho gayi. And that's what literally saying, sare ghar vich aake baithe ne ji, inna de ghar ch kirtan ho reha hai, jagah spiritual ho gayi. Boliyo nahi, sant sabha di ghar hoti hai, sare sant thode hi hain. Till you get to that stage, Than sohava pavitra hai means what? This mind-body system, where that sun, that ultimate sun is going to appear. If it appears, that space becomes holy. That becomes pure. Toi kisi nu mile jin pura guru labdha. And it has been observed that unless you get the guidance from the one who actually have gone there, you will not be able to arrive at that destination. In other words, right, I can only help you to go as far as I have gone. How am I going to take you further than that? So, toi tisi no mile jin pura guru lava. The one who has actually arrived at that. If you get to that, they will also get to there. Nanakabadda gharataha. Then this mind-body system reaches a space, a dimension. What is what is that dimension? How do we recognize it? It's a tithe mirta na janam jara. No death, no birth, and jara means bhadapa, aging. That process suspends. Of course, that process is not associated with this body, right? This body has the birth, the death, and the aging. So where is that space then? Right within inside you. When that manifests, you experience that space, which is beyond all of the beginning and the end and the middle. So as you can see, that no matter how many times we repeat and how many times we come, it keeps you bringing back there again and again and say, get started, get going, surrender yourself, find the right path, and whatever path gets you going, just go. And get rid of the intellectualizations and discussions and arguments and the desire to win that one or lose that one, etc. These are all waste of mind, body, energy. So may He bless us with that energy. So with that we will take a pause here. So next time we will start from 77.
See, when you were talking about He is in everyone, everything was created by Him, you gave several points, right? Do you at all remember?
Rather than I asking her, do you remember anything I said? She said, again, do you remember what you said? Isn't that interesting?
Let us see if anybody remembers this. He is in everyone, everything was created by Him. You see Him everywhere.
See who?
Him, the one.
Oh, okay.
You see Him in everyone, okay? And then when you look at people, you can literally see the consciousness in them. You don't just see the skin, but that's ultimate state. None of us are there yet, okay?
We can't be there.
So,
You can.
if you attend
Not in
to,
this life.
if you attend to oneness, you can become one with one, and you get everything.
Get everything what? Money?
Maybe that.
Now there was at least one more point. That's why I was reading that.
Got the essence of the details there.
No,
That's wordsmithing.
Yeah.
I know, but I like that one and I didn't get that. It will come to me probably when I'm sleeping.
In dreams, yes.
वो मुशक्कत वर्ड जिन्नी नाम ते आया गए मुशक्कत वो भी है ना भाई साहब?
No, it's fine.
Christians are so on the path of sin and hell, and they all want to go to hell.
Sikhism doesn't accept our model.
I know, I've just been having a lot of conversations, and I wonder, it seems to like
Because they see when the various religions paint a picture of hell, what is that? A burning and killing and crying and torture, right? The question is our conscious map going through that right now? Are we pulled in different directions after somebody is literally snatching our skin? When we are in a turmoil of some sort, right? To bring you back to your good old memories, should I or should I not? What is that? Isn't that torture?
no,
That's a mental
I know
torture.
myself, yeah.
Yeah. You can really relate with that very well. That how much time of agony and agonizing you went through. Right? Well, it's like, and we metaphorically say, well, it's like living through hell. Well, it is. It is. There is no other hell. There is no ninth cloud somewhere and people have the boiled water and oil and they are throwing everybody in. That's childish. Those images were necessary when the consciousness was childish. The consciousness has grown up a lot more now. Oh, it's funny. Somebody told me that in Japan they actually have a museum called Hell and Heaven. And the people go to see like we go to Disneyland to see the rides, people pay a ticket to see the hell. And they are designed, some people are doing the fire, some people are being cut into pieces and they all are being eaten by the animals and so forth. And so people pay money to see that. And people really feel that. And that's a very, very sad thing to go through, that we still have not evolved to the level where we can see that these are all metaphors. So Gurbani says it's a consciousness level, feeling in pain and misery or feeling elated. Now, understand that they all belong to the physical dimension and you want to transcend the physical dimension. That's why in Sikhism we say you can stay in Tamoguna, Rajoguna or Satoguna. Okay? Tamo means the one who's only focused on the self. Rajo means who's focused on the environment around it, immediate environment, family, friends. And Satoguna means the one who actually is worried about the entire universe and does good by everybody without any distinction. So Gurbani says, well, that's all nice, but they all belong to this dimension. You have to actually transcend all three of them. Right? You have to go beyond all the senses. Naturally, the one who is worried about the whole of the world without any discrimination sounds extremely good. That's Satoguna. And that person can be considered living in heaven, okay, fine. The one who is in Tamoguna, that can be envisioned as living in hell. Because he is constantly chasing his own self-motive gratification. And mostly you don't get it. You just keep on chasing. Why? Because the moment you get it, you just shift your aim. Oh, this is not what I thought it would be, so maybe I should do this. Every chase has that trap. Every chase. I made $1 million. Oh God, that's not enough. I'm going to get 2. No, 2 are enough. Let me get 10. And so you go on. This man is no good. Let me get another one. Well, that's no good. Let me get another one. This woman is no good. We just go on and on. This house is not big enough. Let me get another one. This house is not big enough. Let me get another one. When you get there, you suddenly thought, oh my God, that's not what I thought it's going to be. And what it does, consciousness finds a reason to shift that. So, hell and heaven is a frame of existence or frame of mind. Heaven is where there is nothing matters, everything has come to standstill, complete satisfaction, contentment, and the hell is where it has continuous going on, never ending. And those states are actually here. Now, each one of us. Think about somebody who's in right now in Iraq with a leg job and a bullet in the side, and is he living in heaven?
That's hell for him.
So these concepts should not be taken literally. It's very unfortunate that some religion, they push it that way. And the reason they push it that way is they use those two concepts as a means to extract something out of it. The fear of hell will either force you to give something and say, help me, or greed of heaven will force you to say, well, here is something to make my reservation too. Those are the only two forces which make the man put his hand in his pocket and say, here is something from me. And ran away.
Here.
I don't think so.
What's your personal take on Jesus?
Hmm?
What's your personal take on Jesus?
But
I mean, he did come and he was made to the cross and all that whole story.
Jesus' cross?
I mean, he is a historical
About
figure.
him.
About him, I mean, how do you...
What do you think
what
of
do you
Opinion.
expect?
Opinion about
Opinion about
He means
Jesus?
the whole of his coming and being sacrificed.
Jesus was a mystic who conducted one of the experiments in consciousness evolution, which is called the method of friction. Method of friction says when you create the friction between the body and the consciousness, can they two be separated or not? Hence the method of crucifixion. Crucifixion does not allow the body to go into unconsciousness quickly. It's not a shock to the body. Human body has about 6 pints of blood on the average. Crucifixion bleeds it drop by drop by drop by drop. So the friction is created between the consciousness. I am dying. No, you are not dying. The body is dying. I am in pain. No, you are not in pain. The body is in pain. So can you stay that alert and see the difference that as the body is giving up, is the consciousness going higher? And he proved to the world that that's possible. If he just wanted to die, he didn't have to go to Rome to die. Right? He was born in Nazareth. Why did he travel all the way to Jerusalem? Even when he was told that you're going to get captured. Why did he go? Not to save himself. And when they are saying, you just denounce your message, we have no problem with you. The only words that he needed to stop using